Good morning, everyone. It is Coffee Chats with Coach Candy, and I am your coach, Candy Barone, CEO and founder of You Empowered Strong. Welcome, welcome, welcome to another day. This is Thursday. Thanks. We're actually going to change the Thursday Throwdown space into a Thursday space of gratitude. Good morning, Myra. Good to see you as always. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And just to recap, for those of you that may be joining us, I know we get a lot of new people every day. So just want to recap what we do here every morning, Monday through Friday. I am here doing coffee chats. And good morning, Deborah. And so every day's got a different theme. And we are here at 7:30 Central Time each morning. And we get into some really good discussions around a variety of different things. And everything is designed to help you live your life more intentionally. Good morning, Jeff. And live your life with purpose, passion, and incredible power. And so today is going to be a Thursday Thanks Day. We are going to flex our muscle around gratitude. Good morning, Martha. But just again, to recap for some of you that might be joining us for the first time, Monday is our mindset space. So it is very powerful when we get our intention set and we are very clear and focused about how we choose to show up and how we choose to serve. And so we do a lot around our mindset. We get into limiting beliefs, we get into things that are holding us back, and just ways to shift the paradigm, ways to shift things that might be blocking us or getting in our way. And we want to be able to open up access for more, right? So then Tuesday we get into a pretty deep training space. So Tuesday is all about training, where I share some strategies and techniques and some processes with you to really help you level up and elevate your game. And then Wednesday is our wonder space. This is where we get to play in the possibilities and we get to really dance in all that good morning, Kathy. That is all possible for us. And so we had a really, really rich discussion yesterday that just got very emotional, very passionate. It was just beautiful. And as are many of our discussions in the morning getting to be. And then Thursday, instead of the throwdown space, I'm actually going to change this more into a thankful space. I think we really could use to flex the muscle of gratitude much more. And there is a big difference. I'm going to talk about the difference between an attitude of gratitude and a practice of gratitude. And so we're going to get into some spaces where we can practice gratitude on a daily basis. And then Friday is the feature space. So Friday is all about sharing some resources and tools, books, podcasts, and other people, other thought leaders that I get to bring to you to share their message, share some powerful insights, and help you go into the weekend with just a great way to feed your soul, your mind, your body, your spirit. So good morning, everyone. That is the recap. Good morning, Terry. Good morning, Sharon. God, I love seeing all of these same faces showing up every day. I feel like we're building this incredible community. And it is all because each of you are showing up. Martha, I love that you watched the Leading with Lollipops by Drew Dudley. Yes, I did share that yesterday as we were having a powerful conversation about imagine if you were to do for one that which you would wish to do for many. And so many times we stop ourselves from being able to show up fully because we say things like, I don't have enough money. When this happens, when I have that degree, when I do that, then I will serve. And the thing I want you to remind yourself of is you can serve at any point in your life where you're at right here, right now. There is someone who needs you and needs you in this moment. And so when you think about how you can serve one, how you can show up for one and do what you wish you could do for many, that ripple effect starts to take massive power and create this incredible energetic vibration that starts to lift the level of consciousness and leadership. And so we do have a responsibility for that. And I did reference yesterday Drew Dudley's TED Talk, which in my opinion is one of the best TED Talks ever. It is 6 minutes long. There are no excuses. You must watch it. And it is called Lollipop Moments. And Martha, I'd be curious what your thoughts were, but it was such a game changer when I saw that. And it was just so powerful to realize that it's those little moments where we show up and are present for somebody that can matter in the most profound and prolific way. And so I highly, 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 highly encourage you to go out and check out that amazing video. He's just someone you want to just hug and squish. And he's just one of the most lovable human beings, and just love his message. And he has a funny way of telling it, and just powerful. So definitely go check that out. Let's see what everybody's doing this morning. Myra, watch the video too. Love that I have members of my team and friends showing up here. I do too. Thank you, all of you. Speaking of gratitude, thank you for sharing this with your tribe, for inviting others to join us in this discussion. I absolutely love the power of the ripple. The power of the community is you guys, and the fact that you're inviting your friends, your team. We have more people joining us every morning, and the conversation is getting richer and juicier, and this is what's connected. Courageous connected conversations instead of what's going on in the world right now, which is a lot of complaining and commiserating. And when we have a space that we can show up for each other, we can show up for ourselves, we can have conversations about topics that matter, about things that we can do to show up differently in the world, we do start to change that level of consciousness that I talked about yesterday. And so the conversations we have here every morning are making a difference. They're creating a ripple into our communities. And so Myra and the rest of you that have been inviting people to this time with us in the morning, thank you so much. I deeply appreciate you showing up every day, and I deeply appreciate you sharing this with others, because this is how change happens. This is where we hit the tipping point, right? This is where effective impact is really created, and we all have the ability to influence. And so I love that you're sharing it. I love that you're serving it forward, leading it forward, shining it forward. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Tina, good morning. It's so great to see you, my friend. Oh, I'm so excited to have you here. Terry, hi, driving today, so no comments from me. Hope you're all unleashing your awesome today. Well, Terry, we will manifest, because we know you always have great insights. And so, you know, sometimes we have days where we just get to listen, and it's not about us contributing. It's about us sharing in other people's contributions. And so I think it's wonderful that you can still join us this morning and just listen in. So love that. Good morning, Paul. Good morning. Great to see you. Positive wording. Yes, we are all about how to make sure that you're intentional with what you say, how you think. All of that matters. All of that creates energy, and that energy has such a magic for what we manifest in our life. And I think I've shared with you, you know, I am a master law of attraction practitioner. I've done training in that space, and it's always interested me, because 10 years ago I would have been very much like, oh, all this universal laws and everything else is a bunch of woo-woo nonsense. And it's so, there's such a science behind it. It's really physics. It's energy. It's movement. And when you learn how to really understand it and harness it for magic in your life, you really can create that magic. And if you remember last week, I talked about magic bringing that space of manifesting awesome gifts into consciousness. And so think about that. There's awesome gifts around us everywhere. And that's what we're going to get into today. It's about how to acknowledge and really attract and open up access to all of the amazingness and awesomeness and the gifts around us by flexing that muscle of gratitude. And again, there is a huge difference between attitude of gratitude and practice of gratitude. And we're going to talk about that. And I'm going to challenge you a little bit to stand in that space a little bit more intentionally and purposely. And so at work, semi-annual driver physicals. Oh, well, have fun with that. That sounds awesome. So anyway, good morning, everyone. It is just such a pleasure to have you here. And so I do want to get back into the space around that magic and bringing that forward. And gratitude really is the most effective way possible to open up access for more in your life. Not only does it create a space where you truly can tap into that sense of fulfillment for yourself, it also is, besides love, the highest vibration energetically that we can personally put ourselves in. And so when we start to really work that muscle, grow that muscle, flex that muscle, it becomes a resource for us that we can dial into at all times. And truthfully, the more we choose to dial into it, the more we're going to open up access for things that are going to bring us joy and love and peace and fulfillment, and also allow us to help others to do the same. And so, you know, we talk about the servant, you know, leadership and serving it forward. And when we can start to model and really demonstrate a practice of gratitude, we start to help others to do the same. Because like I said, we've got gotten caught up in this environment where it is all about complaining and commiserating. We have gotten into a life where, and I know I've shared with many of you, but I'm feeling a little punchy, so we're going to share the example again. But it's the conversation that goes around, for a person A is like, oh, I'm so busy. My life sucks so much. You have no idea how much I have on my plate. I have so many projects and I have all of these deadlines. And on top of that, I got to get dinner on the table and I got to get my kid to soccer practice and the other one to lacrosse. And oh my God, you have no idea how tired I am and how busy I am. So that's person A's commentary. And then person B jumps in and says, oh, please, girl, you think you're busy. And by the way, it's not just the women, the men do this too. But it's, girl, you think you're busy. Please, you got 4,000 plates you're spinning. I got 5. You got soccer and lacrosse you got to take kids to. I got piano and choir as well. I got the in-laws coming this weekend on top of all these deadlines. And it's literally this conversation about who can outsuck who. We have gotten into such a space in our culture around my life sucks worse than yours, therefore I win. And I just think it's worth repeating that analogy because think about what that's doing. Think about how we're constantly in this space to bitch and moan and complain and groan and like, it's always about what's going wrong in the world. It's always about what we don't have. It's always about the headaches and the challenges and it's this or that or, oh my God, I forgot this at the grocery store. And it's always in that negative space of what I didn't do, what I don't have, what's landing on top of me, what's being piled up on top of me, what's, this, that, whatever, or it's this comparison game of, oh, well, they think they're all that. They have that. How come I don't? And what we don't realize is that is inadvertently creating this energetic space in our environment, in our culture, in our world right now that has people feeling depleted, feeling negative, feeling down. It's why we're seeing so many things happen because people feel isolated and stressed and anxious. And we have the ability to shift that. And it starts with the practice of gratitude. And so an attitude of gratitude is great. And it's also limiting because if you're just saying thank you and you just have an attitude, there's no energy in it that creates action. And so action is really powerful from a universal standpoint, from an energy standpoint. Anything that's in motion stays in motion and anything at rest stays at rest. Just basic laws of physics, right? And so when you think about potential energy and you think about kinetic energy, you want to really tap into that kinetic energy which allows movement, which allows motion, which allows energy to be propelled forward. It also means the more you're in that space, the more you're creating and generating more of that energy to continue to lift things up. And so an attitude of gratitude is for those people that can't even do gratitude at all. It's a great place to start. It's a great place to say, okay, I'm going to be thankful for this. And it's kind of like doing affirmations. I have mixed emotions about affirmations, to be really honest with all of you. I think affirmations only serve when it's connected to something that's meaningful and powerful for you. An affirmation for the sake of an affirmation is a bunch of just words that unless you, and it's the same thing with the law of attraction. I think people really miss this. Even when they get in the space of visualization around, well, I want this. So I created this picture. I told the universe what I want, and now it's not happening. There's a bigger component that I think people are missing in that whole, arena, which is around really emotionally investing and creating alignment and action that matches the vision or the statement or the affirmation that you put out there. Words are only words until we energetically connect into them and feel and lean into them in a way that says, all right, I'm going to make sure that everything I do in my own actions is aligned to what I just asked for, what I said, how I want to show up in this world. And so the attitude of gratitude is kind of like just saying, hey, I'm a great person, I'm this, and it's just saying the affirmation to say the affirmation, where the practice of gratitude means you're really getting in and flexing the muscle. The practice of gratitude means then you're taking that space and you're actually creating a catalytic, converter almost, to put it into motion. You're creating an action that then allows you to bring more of that to you because it's something that's moving forward. It's something that's opening up space. And so I don't know how many of you, I know I share a lot that I am a huge Disney Muppet, I love my cartoon movies, right? I love any Disney movie. There's I think I might have one or two that aren't my favorite, but I love me some, Disney. One of my favorite movies growing up, and I always laughed because people used to call me this. In fact, even in college, I had a professor who, for those of you that don't know, I went to school to be a mechanical engineer. I know, crazy. And it was very telling why I shouldn't have been an engineer, because my favorite class in engineering school was American Lit. True story. I just soaked up American Lit, and our dean of students at the time taught the class. And I loved Pat. Pat was amazing. And Pat would sit there and constantly challenge me. He's like, you look at the world through rose-colored glasses. We need to wake you up. I'm like, yeah, I'd rather look through the world through rose-colored glasses. And one of the aspects of American Lit that I really dug into was the whole transcendental period. I love Emerson and Thoreau and Robert Frost. And I mean, I used to just absorb that, right? And I just love that whole philosophy, which is a lot of how I teach, right? I get into that very transcendental space around knowing self and connecting into nature and bringing things to you. And a lot of law of attraction actually connects into that very powerfully. But what was interesting is even through college, I got called Little Miss Pollyanna Sunshine. And I love the movie Pollyanna. I don't know how many of you have ever seen it. If you haven't, it's got Haley Mills. It's just this really, it'll rip your heart out, but at the same time, it'll just lift your spirit in such a way. But one of the things I loved about that movie was a game that Pollyanna always played called the Glad Game. And what was interesting is there was a lot of people that were moving around the town and moving around the environment that were always complaining about something. And she would say, well, let's find something to be glad about, which is essentially that practice of gratitude. It's that space of how can you turn any negative into a positive. And so I want to give you some examples. And before I do that, I want to read something from Buddha, and that says, let us rise up and be thankful. For if we didn't learn a lot today, at least we learned a little. Love it. And if we didn't learn a little, at least we didn't get sick. And if we didn't get sick, at least we didn't die. So let us all be thankful. There is always something to have gratitude for. And I know, trust me, I have been sucker punched more times from life and things in my environment. There are so many ways. I mean, and many of you know my story, even growing up with my dad. My dad was very abusive, very manipulative, very narcissistic, social alcoholic, and I was the one that took the brunt of it because I wanted to protect my family. And even inside of that, there was so much gratitude. And I have people who think I'm crazy when I say that my father was my best influence. And gratitude gets you everything. Absolutely, Tina. And so I want you to think about where you're complaining in your life. And so part of what I want to challenge you on today is to really create the awareness and take responsibility inside that awareness to say, where am I complaining? Even if it's just in my head. And by the way, anytime you're doing a comparison, anytime you're blaming someone, anytime you feel you have to justify or rationalize why you're doing something, or if you are just plain out complaining, I want you to realize that you're keeping yourself in a victim mentality. When we choose not to be in a place to practice gratitude, we are actually keeping ourselves in a victim mentality, because in some way, shape, or form, we're making it about something that is being done to us, something that is not our fault, something that we don't want to take responsibility for, something that is out of control in our life that we think we can just complain and moan and groan about, when all of that, even your thoughts, because by the way, your thoughts are extremely powerful. What you think and speak about, you do bring about, because it's what you think and speak about and feel about as you think and speak about that is creating whatever's coming to you. So if there are things in your life right now that you don't like, the best way to change that is to stop complaining about it, stop pushing against it, stop bitching about it, and to actually allow yourself to step into a place to deliberately, purposely practice gratitude. And so I'm going to give you some examples. So say here's some examples of things you might say as stuff that shows up. And again, it's not just the saying, it's dropping. And we talk a lot about dropping into yourself, dropping in and allowing yourself to feel the gratitude. And so you might say something like, I'm so grateful to have had more time for my family during this period. So some of you, I know you're on this call that you're going through a major transition because maybe you lost your job. And so while, yes, that can be very challenging, think about, and I just did a talk Tuesday at Higher Texas, which is that entire group is going through a transition where they were given the best gift they could possibly receive, which is the fact that they now have space to figure out what's next for them. And oftentimes I know when we lose a job or something like that happens to us, we get so caught up in the loss that we don't understand and recognize the blessing inside of it. And so it might be something like, I'm so grateful to have had more time for my family during this period. I'm so grateful that I get to be away from a job that I didn't even feel fulfilled in and start to figure out what's next for me. I get to tap into my passion. I get to explore me, which I've never had time to do before. And when you start to shift and put yourself in a space to say, what can I be grateful for? And so I'd love to hear from you guys as I'm sharing this right now. I know I'm getting on kind of a ramp this morning, but I want to hear where maybe gratitude has opened up some access for you, where that practice, because some other things you might say are, and feel. Again, it's not just the words, it's the feeling, it's the emotional connection into the gratitude. So it's, I'm grateful that my life is a lot better, that is in a lot better order because I've had the spare time I had. So again, you have that space to organize, to get your ducks in a row, to clear out the noise, the stuff that doesn't serve you anymore. Perhaps it could be, I'm grateful that I had a job most of my life and that I'm experienced so I can step into a new space. Because a lot of people that even when they lose their job, they'll say, well, I don't know what I'm going to do next. You have a world of experience. You've been working. You have things you bring to the table. It's a matter of stepping into those gifts and those things that light you up. Let's see, Jeff. Amen to that. Find your passion is no longer work. Yes, because I love, I think it's T. Harv Eker that says, he's like, job is just over broke. When you look at things in your life as a job, it is going to continue to put a ceiling for you versus when you step into a space that says, I get to do something that I'm passionate about. And that includes even working for someone else. It's not that everybody has to have their own business. I'm not talking about that. Because you may actually, and think about this perspective. Do you want to work for someone and have a job? Or do you want to help someone move a movement forward that you believe in? Do you want to play into a mission that you can get behind? Do you want to know that you are impacting something because you're part of somebody else's vision and you know that you're bringing gifts to the table? Think about that. That is a huge shift in perspective when you say, oh, I just have a job. I'm just looking for another job, just over broke, which is a mentality. Or I'm looking to support someone in a movement and mission that I so deeply and passionately believe in that I know I have gifts that can help them move that forward. I know that by helping them move that forward, we're going to impact even more people. Think about approaching your job search from that perspective, or any project or any new client. Because here's the other thing that happens for those of you that are entrepreneurs. You sit there and you're like, oh my God, I just need more clients. And you'll go out and take anybody instead of qualifying. Are these people? I have people that will say, I had somebody yesterday, Candy, well, do you do one-on-one coaching? I said, yes, and it's an application process. I take 5 one-on-one coaching clients a year. And I'm dead serious about that. And the thing is it's a application process because I need to know that this is somebody who, from an alignment standpoint, we have a shared passion, we have a shared vision, and that collectively, I truly can help this person move their movement forward. I truly can help this person move their mission forward. And it's going to be someone that shows up doing the work and is ready to play full out. I've had people that I've taken on, I've had those desperate moments, and it's cost me. So when you have deep gratitude to say, this is what I want to attract, being that lighthouse. And when you change that frame or perspective, you will start to attract more of what you want, more of what taps you into that space to be deeply passionate. And so I want you to think about, and I know even when Paul came on, positive wording, right? Those words matter. How you choose to create the lens, the perspective, the way that you're opening up access, the way you step into a place of deep, powerful, emotionally connected, spiritually connected Gratitude is the way that you're going to open up everything. So let me see what we got here. Martha, the serenity prayer helps me accept the things that I can't change, feel the feelings, then release them. And I can't release them until I first own them. Absolutely. And I agree with that. So that's an example of perhaps a mantra or perhaps an affirmation that would speak to Martha that says that prayer really resonates with me. And so I make sure that that's something that I put in front of me at all times so that I can then hold myself in a place of deeper responsibility, deeper gratitude, so that I can say, accept what I can't change, accept what I can, and, have peace, or whatever that program goes, know the difference between the two and be okay, kind of thing is what it says, right? And so owning that space that connects for you is really powerful. Elaine, have used the explanation of having time to spend with family and friends during my gap in employment during job interviews. Yes, think about that. Think about how many times when you're working, you're like, God, I just wish I had more time with my friends and family. Okay, you've been given a gift. So carve out some time that you're doing the job search and then really honor and own the fact that you've asked for this. So think about that too. You've asked for it at some level to have more time with your family and friends. And now you've been given that gift. And if you remember, there's a quote or a passage that I shared with you that says, anytime you when you don't appreciate a gift, when you don't have gratitude for any gift that's been given to you, you are returning that gift to God unopened and unappreciated. And so I want you to think about that. I want you to think about when we don't, and it's even the compliments, right? When we don't receive a gift, we're not allowing someone else that opportunity to put love out into the universe. And we're blocking that. And giving needs to be a cycle, because it's a giving, receiving, reciprocity that then creates that. And gratitude is the glue that creates that law of reciprocity that allows us to give in higher capacities, because we've also got to be able to receive it. So here's a couple more I want to share with you. I'm truly grateful that this is the first time I've been unemployed. Ooh, there's a big one, right? I'm truly grateful that this is the first time. Please, I've been unemployed several times in my life for various reasons. Some of my own choice, some was, hey, because the company remerged, or I made whatever. There's all kinds of reasons, right? I'm grateful that there are jobs out there and more new jobs are appearing each day. I'm grateful for all the things I've learned in the course of my life. I'm grateful that I have my health and that I can work. I'm grateful for my family's encouragement and support. And these are more in the line of jobs, but you get my drift, right? I'm grateful for the rest I've had because I've needed it. Think about some of you that have had moments where you're like, God, I have an injury or have something. So think about the fact that you've been given an opportunity to rest because you need it. It's just a perspective. It's a space to deliberately put yourself into practicing gratitude. And so it's that space of I'm grateful. And sometimes, and I tell people when we do the kind of, if you need to shift the frame, sometimes all you have to do is say, I'm so happy and grateful that my life no longer is in a place of complaining and misery and things such as that. And so you can, if you want to play the comparison game, compare yourself to where you were before and have gratitude for where you've arrived. Think about the gratitude in the journey, right? And that's a big missed space for most of us. We worry about going into where we started, where we're coming out, and we forget to have gratitude in the icky, sticky journey itself, because that's where all the beauty and the magic really exists. And so let me see, Deborah, after I've lost my last job, taking time off helped find the perfect spot to help the business that I work for now. Exactly. Tina, when you help someone out and see the growth they've had because you did help them, seeing their eyes sparkle because they are fighting themselves, also great feeling, right? So that's the thing. It doesn't matter what you're doing, because your value is not a function of the job you have, the title you have, who you work for, if you work, if you don't. None of that matters. You have so much to give forward. You have so much to be grateful for. And so the space that I want to really challenge you is where you're feeling like something's heavy, where you're feeling like there's still some blame, where you're feeling like you've had to justify or rationalize the reason why or why not you're doing something, and where you're complaining. Because I love the quote from T. Harv Eker that says, when you complain, you become a living, breathing crap magnet. And I asked this at Higher Texas Tuesday. I was like, how many of you have aspirations to be a crap magnet? Think about that for a minute. When we complain, when we sit in a space of what I don't want, and, oh, this sucks, and I can't believe this just happened to me, and how come this keeps happening over and over again, and oh, woe is me. Think about all we keep attracting as just this crap storm that keeps coming down. And I personally do not want to be a crap magnet, nor do I want to be around anyone who is a crap magnet. So I have completely shifted that lens so that no matter what is challenging me, there is always a space to say, what can I learn in this? What can I feel blessed by through this? And what can I really drop into and have a deep practice of gratitude around? And so I really want you to think about, as you go through your day-to-day, I want you to find the things that are challenging you. I want you to really notice how your body feels. I want you to feel if there's any tightness in your chest, if there's any kind of like anxiety in your belly, if your heart's racing a little bit, if you're feeling really tired. I want you to notice that. And what I want you to do is I want you to deliberately drop into a practice of gratitude in that moment for what you do have, what you are blessed by. You will notice that when you do that, and if you remember last week, I told you that, you know, getting up every morning and having those 10 blessings and being able to say them and maybe write them down, when you shift into a deep practice of gratitude, you energetically raise your vibration. So if you're feeling depleted, if you're feeling tired, if you're feeling like, oh, it's been a day, then that is exactly the time to get up. Maybe go take a walk outside, get your journal, meditate, and simply say, then let me sit in a place to think about everything that I feel blessed and that I'm grateful for, and deliberately create a practice of gratitude. You will start to see and breathe through it. You know, I always tell you to breathe first. Breathe through that deeply and feel into it, lean into it, and you will notice that your energy starts to shift. You cannot be fully in a space of gratitude and have lower level vibration. It's impossible. They are two different sides of the spectrum. And if you want to shift out of shame, anger, stress, fear, the best way to do that is to shift and put yourself into a practice of gratitude. Love and gratitude are the two most highest energetic vibrations we can be in for our beings, our spiritual selves, whatever. So if you ever need a lift, put yourself in a place of love and gratitude. That will shift you out. Again, it's not just the words. It needs to be leaning into and really feeling into. And I will tell you, when I've really had a bad day, and I know I've shared this with you, I have some notifications on my phone that show up. I have songs connected, because I know there's certain times of the day where I can just feel like I've been going. I've been working with clients. Maybe I had some tough coaching calls that day. Maybe things didn't quite go the way I wanted, and I can start to beat myself up. And so one of my favorite songs is by Colby Calyette, which is Try. And I have it set to play at 6:30 on my phone. And it's amazing to me. Sometimes that song will go off and I just feel like I'm overflowing with joy. Like, I mean, I showed up today. I brought my A game. I feel good. I served. And there's other times that that song will play maybe 3 or 5 times in a row before I turn it off. And I will just sit, and I'm going to get misty again. Man, I've been emotional on these calls. I will just sit and bawl. And I will bawl for the reason of knowing how blessed I am and knowing that I was really hard on myself. And so I just allow myself a space to release it. I just realized, you know what, Candy, you did the best you could today. And so I always have you, one of the questions that you can do at the end of your day when you're closing it out is, you know, where did I show up and rock it today? Where was I like a badass rock star, brought my A game? Where did I? And where, if I were honest today, maybe cop out a little bit. Okay, you know what? You did the best you could today, Barone. So guess what? You can do it again tomorrow. And tomorrow we're going to put a little bit more effort in that space, and we're going to push it a little bit further, and you're going to show up even better. And there's just a way to release that. And it's in that space of gratitude. It's a space to say, I'm a human being. I did the best I could today, and I'm going to offer myself some forgiveness, some grace, and a lot of gratitude. And so I really want you to find those anchor points that can bring you into a present space to be really aware of how you're showing up for yourself, because how you show up for yourself is everything in terms of how you can show up for other people. And again, dropping into that place of deep gratitude, dropping into that place where you can go into your own personal power and acknowledging that, hey, you know what, I did the best I could. And right now I feel blessed by these things. This is important. Sometimes all I have to do is think about Peyton. Y'all know how much my dog means to me. I can drop into a place of just thinking, I'm so blessed that this creature, this being chose me to be his mama. And that at the end of the day, no matter what I do, he loves me unconditionally. And that is enough for me to drop into a practice of gratitude that can shift everything for me. And so I want you to find your kind of anchor points to pull you in if you need to really have some help in anchoring yourself around that practice of gratitude. So let me see what the rest of you are writing. Elaine, I have met some of the most wonderful people since I lost my job that I would not have met otherwise. I'm so grateful for this, right? Oh, I just love that. Martha, I go back and look at my gratitude journal from previous years and see how much better my life is now. Yes, gratitude journals are powerful. The other thing I would tell you is keep a smile file. I have one that's electronic and I have one that's a box of cards. Anyone, and I mean Facebook posts, I don't care, when somebody tells me that I've done something to impact their life, that I've done something to significantly to give them that lollipop moment. I have files that when I'm having a day, I go back out and I just let myself absorb the love that I've received from other people and their gratitude. It's such a beautiful way to get yourself shifted in that space. Jeff, Candy, this is absolutely awesome. I'm thankful I started joining this group. Oh, I love that. And I love that song. Yes, I agree. Tracy, good morning. It's so great to have you here. So yeah, see, I will tell you, I'm a big baby and I own it and I love it and I cry all the time. And my last piece I want to share with you is I used to have people that would make fun of me because I'm very emotional and I'm too passionate. And when I was in my corporate career, I had a lot of shame around that. I had a lot of shame that I have this big, huge heart that wants to give and that I just didn't understand why God gave me this capacity to love if I was supposed to shut it down and stifle it. And I felt like much of my life, especially as a child and in my corporate career, people kept trying to contain all this love that I have busting out at the seams. And it wasn't until I started to do my work in law of attraction, and I started to really do the work for me, that I realized that that's one of the best gifts I've ever been given, is my ability to emotionally connect with myself, with others, and with life in general. And I now have a different question I ask myself every day. It's not, why am I crying? It's, and fortunately, I've not had to do this in the 6 years since I left corporate, that if I ever have to ask myself, if I ever have to reflect on my day and say, why didn't I either get chills or my eyes water or I cried or my heart felt like it wanted to bust from my chest, if I ever have a day that's like that, I have a very different question I get to ask myself, which is, why the hell did I even get out of bed? Because I don't think we were designed not to feel emotionally and spiritually connected to things in our life every day. And if I have a day where I feel like that doesn't happen, then shame on me for getting up and wasting the breath and energy and taking up space when I'm not deeply connecting to things. And I shared that with a financial advisor once. She said, you know, they make fun of me because I always cry when I'm with clients. And I said, you know what, the next time one of those guys says that to you, ask them how they're not serving their clients because they refuse to. She said, what? And I said, you're in an industry where you're saving people's livelihoods. You're putting protective measures in place to create generational wealth for their families. You're protecting their family if, God forbid, something happens to them. How do you not deeply connect to that work and know that you're creating that kind of legacy and impact for other people and their families? I said, so you ask those guys how they're not serving because they choose not to emotionally connect with their clients. She's like, I never thought about it that way. And that's the thing. We have to realize that we were given these gifts for a reason. And I don't make apologies. Look, there's people that are like, Candy, you're too big. You love, I still have people, Candy, you love too big. You know what? I don't even know what that means. I don't think that's possible. And anytime I hear the two, I just say thank you because that's one of my gifts. And I own it and I appreciate it. And so I just share that with you because I want you to realize that you being you is everything the world needs. And when you can stand in a deep place and practice of gratitude around you and your gifts and how you show up for people, the more you can step forward and serve. And so I just wanted to kind of share that. Okay, good morning. And surround yourself with other passionate, positive people. Absolutely. I only surround myself with people who accept me for how big I choose to love. And I love that they love me as big back. And I just think, you know what? We need more of a love fest. We need to put more love out there, more gratitude. And if I cry through all of it, so be it. I don't care. I'm not afraid of my tears anymore. I just figure it's my heart overflowing and it's got to come out somewhere. So it just comes and leaks out of my eyes. So I adore you. I love all of you so much. I love how amazing these conversations in the morning is. And you guys are awesome. You guys are truly awesome. I can't believe we've been doing this for almost a month now. And just seeing y'all show up every morning just fills me up so much with love and so much joy. And so with that, the challenge today is I want you to really feel into those moments where maybe you're not fully present for yourself. Maybe you're not fully loving yourself. And I want you to find your way. I want you to practice gratitude today. I want you to practice gratitude in everything around you. And so with that, I am sending you off with huge heart-to-heart hugs and just a massive amount of love for all of you. So I hope you'll go out there, be more present, be more purposeful, tap into your own personal power, be as passionate as you choose to be, and practice an attitude, practice your gratitude today. I just love y'all. So I'll see y'all tomorrow. Tomorrow's Feature Friday. I think we're going to dig into one of my favorite books, The Traveler's Gift by Andy Andrews. But until then, mwah, I love all of you. Make it a great Thursday. Bye, everyone.